Static buzz crackles in the night. James and Dan on the air alive. Hump Day warriors, we thrive. Raise a glass, feel the sound. Happy hour shakes the ground. Waves of freedom break the air. Rocking parks like we just don't care. Antennas twist, catch the sky. Ham radio, calling out the brave. Tonight we rise, tonight we rave. Raise a glass, feel the sound. Happy hour shakes the ground. Waves of freedom break the air. Rocking parks like we just don't care. Feel the pulse, it's a living fire. Live stream, raw hearts conspire. Through the static, we break the chains. James and Dan, tearing through the veil. Raise a glass, feel the sound. Happy hour shakes the ground. Waves of freedom break the air. Rocking parks like we just don't care.
What is up, Ham Radio? Kilo Echo 8 Papa Zoo November, the Ham Radio Adventure Guy. Thanks for stopping by. Your one stop for everything Adventure Radio. It is Hump Day. Time for the Hump Day Happy Hour. And even starting late. Good evening, everybody. Before we get started, we're going to thank the very, very awesome Patreons. These guys are absolutely awesome, and we really appreciate it. Our newest Patreon, William, welcome to the Patreon, and hopefully I'll see you in After Chat tonight, buddy. Also, a shout out to the YouTube members, equally as important. They are green in chat or blue if they are a moderator. And speaking of moderators, make sure and watch the chat tonight, guys. Also, shout out to the ever-changing board who decided it wasn't going to change, but still a shout out to you anyway. Thanks a lot, guys. Dan, what is going on?
Trying to catch up with that Kilo 4 lemur Indier feller on the Adventure Club seems like a task that nobody's going to be able to reach. I'm trying though. I'm trying. It's
Listen,
tough.
When you're a chicken eating champion like him,
You know,
he gets plenty of protein from all that chicken.
yeah.
He's up for the game.
That's true. Let's run down the list here. Let's see who was first in the buddy Ron Chris, Alpha Echo 4 X-Ray Oscar from Georgia Parks and Propagation. What's going on, my friend? And William, our newest Patreon over in the King's Court. See you in there. KO4SXH. Hello, hello. Whiskey One Whiskey Charlie is here from Alabama. Toby, Alpha Delta 2 Charlie Delta is here from Alaska. Good to see you. Scott into TKT. What's up? What's up? Hey, Ronnie's here. Kilo Oscar 4 Zulu Romeo X-Ray. Kenny KC5 MJE. Howdy, howdy, my friend. Reed AB8AS. Hello, hello. John from West by God, Kilo 8 November, India Victor. Kent Kilo 9 Alpha Echo Echo. Good to see you, man. KO4 FSZ Antennas. Chris, what's going on, buddy? Whiskey Romeo 8 Echo Romeo. Liz is here. Liz and fam. Talking to squirrels. Yeah, that's right. Juliet Mike. The martini is here. NC Old Man Overload. Turd. And 4TRD. What's going on, buddy? The loud mouth from the hammer. Victor Echo 3 Lima Bravo India. 59A. Sounding good. Chris Whiskey 8 Oscar X-Ray. Good evening to you as well. James Walker, Dad, KD9UVK. Hello. I'm in here. We started a little bit late because we were jaw jacking back in the green room about some settings on a radio, and I just wasn't paying attention to the time. Kilo 4 Lima, India. You're here. He says, wake up. We're up. We're getting there, buddy. Frequency Frontiers. Always good to see you. Larry Bingham from Ohio. It is Hump Day, my friend. RFing around is in the house. We woke him up with a catch-up comment. Victor Echo 3, Juliet Lima, November. Good to see you, man. Aaron, KQ4, Hotel Zulu, Kilo. Hello, Pete Knapp. That is the 1 milliwatt wonder from West by God, Virginia. KN8PPY. Always good to have you in here, buddy. Gary Lang, what's up, buddy? That's KQ4TAX, Alabama. Going on over there in Bama, man. See you here in about a week and a half. We're going to have some fun. Episode 207 of Hump Day Happy Hour on this, no joke, didn't rain today, on a pretty good weather-wise Wednesday. James, how's it been up in your neck of the woods?
Dude, it's been actually awesome because it hasn't been the abominable pits of hell hot.
That's true.
It's warm. It's still warm, but it's been enjoyable to be outside and doing POTA and doing satellite hunting and stuff like that. It's definitely a good time.
I got to do the TO dance. That's the TO dance.
I'm very glad to see that this is your first live stream. Hopefully tonight will be your first after chat because you are a Patreon and you can show up in after chat tonight, buddy.
I do have to go ahead and put a disclaimer on that. TO, if you're watching or if you ever watch this, don't file a copyright claim. We love you.
Funny stuff. But I'm sorry, Larry, ketchup is not barbecue sauce that did not grow up. Ketchup is nowhere near any part of barbecue sauce. Yeah.
Ketchup's good.
Oh, God.
Am I going to have to remove you from the stream?
You know what? You need to take that Yazoo back off your desk right now. box it back up, put it in the closet, and pull that icon back out.
There you go.
I mean, you're talking nonsense, buddy.
I like it all, man. I like ketchup, mustard. I like barbecue sauce. What I don't like a lot of, I can have it in like light layer, is mayo. I'm not really a fan of mayo.
No.
I can have it, but it can't be a lot.
Mayo, mustard, ketchup, that's all just a waste of your money.
Yeah.
It's just meant it's meant to stack up on top of little tiny hamburgers that they didn't want to put a lot of meat on and make the burger look fuller.
That's right. I like Kenwood, man. Yeah, before we get to the topic of the night, John says you guys don't like Kenwood radio.
No, I don't know where that came from because I like Kenwood.
Let me tell you I'm gonna give you a little 30-second lowdown on Kenwood, in my opinion. I think if Kenwood would have stayed into it, because the first radio I ever used during a field day back in the late 90s was a Kenwood. And I think if Kenwood would have stayed in the game and kept up with technology and kept up with the times, they would have been probably the top radio manufacturer brand right now. I think them and Yazoo would be at the top, and Icom would have been a distant third. That's just me, though. If they would have kept up, I like Kenwood, though.
Yeah, I like Kenwood myself. I've got one sitting over there on the shelf. The very first radio I ever hunted POTA on was a Kenwood.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, buddy.
Anyway, Yeah, we're not going to do that ketchup barbecue sauce. We'll just get me ranting and raving about that for sure.
Yeah, we talk about Yazoo a lot here because Yazoo does not sponsor the videos, but we
No.
just like Yazoo.
No, that's the thing. A lot of people probably think that Yazoo gives me some kind of kickback. I have never received anything from Yazoo other than a hat. The
You
same
get
hat.
you get kickbacks from Yazoo. Yeah, you get kickbacks from Yazoo and Dr. Pepper, and I get kickbacks from Hook Fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
The only free Dr. Pepper I have ever received has been from POTA people who bring it to the Hamfest for me.
No, we all love all radio brands around here. We might talk trash about brands, but I am very radio agnostic. I own ICOM, Yazoo, Quansheng, Baofeng, Elecraft. I don't care. As long as it
I'm
works.
an ICOM.
Yeah, you do.
I used an ICOM today.
Absolutely.
Made 3 contacts on it.
Wow. That's 3 more contacts than you made on an ICOM in 2 weeks.
No, every time I make a satellite contact, I make it with an ICOM.
Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks. Yeah.
Oh. But
No, we like them all, buddy. We like them all.
Good stuff. Tonight we're going to talk about mistakes that activators and hunter make. Or at least I think they're mistakes. You guys might not think they're mistakes. You know, like Dan, you know, he might not think it's a mistake to drive back through a gate that says do not enter. You know, he might think that's a good idea.
It didn't. In our defense, it did not say that because the sign was flipped. Well, actually, it did say that, but I didn't see the sign. Yeah, I can't argue this. We got locked in. It's yeah, okay, mistake.
I mean, and Dan might not think it's a mistake to go through mud holes that he can't get out of. You know,
Been there too. That's right. Thank you, Robbie, for coming to get me. Yeah.
But we're going to talk about other mistakes. You want to start with activators or hunters, Dan?
Let's start with activators.
We'll start with the activators.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to say mistake number 1 that activators make is putting all their eggs in one basket. And I do this every day. I do this every single day. But really, I have eggs in other baskets. I just don't use them. What I mean is, if you go to a park, maybe you only like to do 40 meters like this guy. You know, that's fine. But you got to have something. What are you going to do if you get to the park? And 40 meters don't fail, but it can. You know, what are you going to do when you get to the park and you made 8 contacts and 40 meters just drops out? And you only have a 40-meter antenna with you. It means you only put all your eggs in one basket. Did you bring a CW key? Can you at least try CW? Do you have set up to do digital on 40 meters? I mean, a lot of mistakes are made just like that. They're like, oh, I'm going to go to the park and I'm going to get 100 contacts real quick on 40-meter sideband. So I'm just taking this 40-meter antenna and I'm going to be done. But you should always be prepared to do something else, whether it's CW, whether it's digital, whether it's jump to another band. You know, I don't really do this every day. I do only do 40 meters a lot, but I'm always capable to do any band I want. I'm always capable to run at least CW and sideband. My new radio I have not set up for digital yet. So, but
that was going to be one of my things that I'm going to mention, John.
Oh yeah, that one was coming too. That one was coming too. Dan, I'll go ahead and let you start with that one. You can start off with that one.
I'm going to start with that one. Yeah. If you activate a park, by God, go to 40 meters. Period. Because there's people that are local. When I mean local, I mean anybody that's in a state that touches you kind of local that might want that park, and it's dead over the 20-meter skip zone or any other higher band skip zone. So go to something lower than 40 meters. You can go to 60 meters. I don't care. I'd probably still get you. But go to something lower than 20 meters so your locals can have a chance at that park as well. I live pretty much in North Florida, and it's rare. You would think I'd have a lot of Florida parks hunted, from right here because of where I live, right? Not even half, because they don't know what 40 meters is down there.
I bet you, I'd almost bet that I'm one of Dan's biggest Florida people he's hunted.
Yeah, you and my toy ostrich, because he knows what 40 meters is.
It's true. I mean, it happens here in West Virginia. Like it drives me insane. I need to narrow down what parks I need and just put those in my ham alerts and be done with it. But it typically, if I'm sitting around the radio, sitting at the house or something, and a West Virginia park comes on, it don't matter if I need it or not. I'll come in here and hunt it. But the problem is, especially you guys up north, and I mean, they're the worst at it. Us guys in the south, myself and Reed and Terry, we always hit 40 meters.
Yeah.
But them guys up there, they go straight to 20, and then they go QRT. And I can't tell you the amount of people who's went to like one of these 8 new wilderness areas, which I know I need, and go straight to 20 meters and then go QRT. It drives me absolutely insane.
Yep. Same thing about some of the new parks in Alabama too, that it's, I just can't get them from here on 20 meters. I mean, if the band's running super duper short, sometimes maybe once a month I can hit, Alabama on 20 meters. But other than that, yeah.
But when I'm thinking about that, it makes sense too, because why the guys from the north do it more, because they're not in the valleys that we're in down here in the south, and 20 meters actually works because 20 meters don't work the best down here. I'll do it. I did it. I got Terry on 20 meters of ground wave the other day on 5 watts.
No, you should. He's just over that hill.
He really was just over that hill. So funny story about that activation, and I'll give Pete a shout out as well on this. But funny story. So I'm pulling into the park, and I called Terry. I was like, "How are the bands right now?" He said, "I don't know. I ain't got the radio on." I said, "Well, I need to know how the bands are right now." He said, "Why? You're going to activate anyway." I said, "Well, you're right, but it's going to make a difference of whether I'm going to sit in the car and do QRO, or if I'm going to hike back in here and do QRP." He said, "Okay, I better turn on the radio." So he turns on the radio, and he said, 40 meters don't look like there's any signals on it. I said, "Okay, we'll go to the POTA page and see if there's anybody that you can listen for." He said, "Nobody's on 40 meters.
That's a hint. Yeah.
I was like, so we decided he was going to go to a Pennsylvania SDR and call out on 5 watts to see if he could hear himself. And he did, and he didn't hear nothing. And he worked his way up. And once he got to 30 watts, he could hear himself. He said, "I don't know, man. I didn't hear myself till 30 watts. I said, "Oh, 30 watts? I said, "I'm good." And he laughed, and I went hiking, and I got back in there, and he was the first person that hunted me, of course. My 5 watts got out, and I activated really quickly, actually. And but I want to give Pete a shout out, because I was running 5 watts and he was running 1, and we made that contact happen. So it's good stuff.
Y'all touched pee-pee swords.
And I seen that people were saying phone a friend if you're doing that one band stuff, and that's gonna get into my next thing. The next mistake activators make: they go to parks that they don't know about, and they get there and have no signal, and they have no way to spot.
Sounds like you went to Murphy, North Carolina.
There is plenty of ways to always spot, guys. Plenty of ways. Even when you have no phone signal and you can't phone a friend, you can't do nothing. There's satellite texters, there's SodaMate, there's ways to spot. you could scroll the bands and find another POTA guy, and you might want to make sure it's a nice POTA guy. Because if it's not a nice guy, they're going to tell you they don't have signal either. But most POTA people will go ahead and spot you too.
That's my favorite way of doing it. Just find somebody else and ask them to spot you. I don't have any of that fangled Starlink equipment yet, because honestly, down here, even in the remote WMAs, you'll have at least enough signal to get a spot out. But I witnessed it firsthand up there in North Carolina. It's rough.
In North Carolina, I'll tell you what, Josh has the Starlink on top of his truck, and Brian had one in his windshield. So that's what kept us spotting down there. Although I had my satellite Dexter with me. And now, if I know for a fact I'm going somewhere that don't have signal, I have a bigger Starlink. I don't have the mini, but I take it with me. So,
Mike says, ask Annette to spot you.
Yeah, that might not work really well.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah, that might not work really well at all. But there's always other ways to spot guys. And like I said, if all else fails, I've said this a million times, you can scroll the bands and make 10 contacts. I mean, you might have to talk to 10 people you don't want to talk to. You might have to say, did you say macaroni salad? Oh, I like macaroni salad. This is Whiskey Delta 4 Delta Alpha November. What's your call sign, buddy?
Or you just get lucky and find one person out of 10 for. That should be another one of your activator things, not knowing where the hell you are.
Yes, ribbon and CW activations are an easy way to spot.
Yes, you can schedule your activation. It's awesome.
Well, see, here's the thing. I don't even have to schedule them, because I'm in enough people's ham alerts that if I just do CW and it spots me, there's going to be people come and hunt me. But yeah, if you schedule it and Ribbon picks it up, it'll go ahead and spot it. So
that's right.
That's right. John hit it right there, and we'll touch on that when we get to hunter mistakes. So we'll leave that be for now. So
y'all realize this too. Speaking about spotting, Monsanto State Park, horrible cell phone signal unless you have a magic T-Mobile device like James has for some reason. But every other carrier on the planet does not have very good cell signal there. So,
but that's okay, because everybody has signal at my cabin.
That's right.
The Starlink will be running with signal for all you AT&T and Verizon users. Oh, but yeah, the Magic T. You know, it's weird because T-Mobile works in a lot of places my Verizon didn't, but there is some places that it don't work where my Verizon did. But overall, T-Mobile does work in more. So, but just trying to see if anybody was saying any other things. What do you guys think activator mistakes are? I'd like to hear what you guys are thinking as we're doing this as well.
I can give you a good one of how you call CQ or how you call for the next call as an activator that aggravates the crap out of me as a hunter.
I know exactly what you're going to say. Before you do, Alan says we'll be able to activate 2 meters within the park. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I've done that at many a Hamfest. And actually, if you've got a radio that does 2 meter CW, bring it up to the park, because I'm going to do a 2 meter CW activation while I'm up there. But go ahead. I know what you're going to say with this one.
Well, let's see.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, go ahead.
What you're going to say?
Yeah.
Well, I'm 90% positive of this.
Okay. We'll see.
So, when a person is calling CW,
CQ,
I don't care how they do it, as long as they don't do something like this. This is Kilo Echo 8, Papa Zulu November, QRZ, in US 1940. That's right. Walk away. I had it. when you say QRZ, that means shut up. It's time
Yeah.
for your pile up to hit. It drives me insane when
Yes.
people does that.
Absolutely. Make QRZ the last thing you say, please.
It's crazy because QRZ, next call, please. Come on.
Yeah.
Not this is Kilo Equate Papa Zulu QRZ in US 1940. I'll be sitting here on 40 meters for the next 10 minutes and taking about 42 more calls. And then I'll be going to 20 meters. Why ain't nobody calling?
So somebody ran into somebody too that actually chastised them for not giving their full call sign, even though they gave their full call sign to the guy, but apparently he was on the mic, or maybe he has a weird recording on his radio, but it was something like, I mean, I didn't hear it, but I would assume it's something like, this is Whiskey Delta 4 Delta Alpha November, calling CQ for parks on the air. In park number, that long pause right there. And people thought, okay, he's done with his CQ. So they started calling. And when he unkeyed the mic, he only got the last 3 letters of a call sign. And he gave the guy crap for not calling with his full call sign. It's like, thought you were done talking, dude.
Yeah,
Sorry.
And that's the activator's mistake right there. Because just because you only hear 3 letters, I'll tell you what, somehow I forget what it's called. There's a setting on when your radio kicks in when you release the mic. I forget what that's called. But somehow mine had got off one night. And every time I'd release the mic, like if you were calling me, I'd hear Delta Alpha November. I'm like, the Delta Alpha November station. And you'd say your call, but I'd hear Delta Alpha November. And I'm like, the Delta Alpha November station. And finally I started telling people, I was like, guys, I don't know what's wrong with my radio, but I need you to wait like a second after I stop.
It sounds like a Vox delay or something.
Steven, it is. And Steven was listening to my activation, and he texted me and told me what to check. And I checked, and mine was way off. So I'd released my microphone, but it wasn't picking up nothing for another, at least a Whiskey Delta 4 part.
Yeah.
So you got to know your settings, that's for sure.
Terry hit a good one here too, which you don't see it very often, but when you do, it's kind of astonishing. Stay within your band privileges as an activator. A lot of people don't pay attention to move a little bit too low on 20 meters or 40 meters.
Yeah, stay consistent with your CQ and your QRZ too. Don't change it every other thing, because we'll get to Y on the hunters, but it throws the hunters off, and then it's not their fault, it's yours.
It does.
If I'm saying this is Kilo Echo 8 Papa Zulu November QRZ, and then the next time I was like, this is Kilo Echo 8 Papa Zulu November CQ Parks in the Air QRZ. This is Kilo Echo 8 Papa Zulu November in US 1940 QRZ. It's throwing them off, and you got to be consistent with that. It's
not as bad on voice as a hunter as it is on CW. I am very, very consistent with how I end a CW QSO, because I actually have it on a memory key. So it's the same every single time, just so I don't have to send my call sign all the time. It's the same every single time. So when I'm ready for the next call.
Josh says avoid bad frequencies, except for when I'm in the mood.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's actually. Sometimes I actually enjoy just handing a lid their butt. There was one in the last week. I know he tried everything in the world to compete with my pile up.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't stand a prayer. I mean, it was one of those nights I had like 300 calls on late shift. And I mean, they were just in there thick as thieves. And he was trying his best to run us off. but he couldn't compete at all. Oh,
I could barely hear him, but he's sitting there hooping and hollering like he had the best station on the planet. Okay. Sounded light here, buddy.
James has a good one for hunters, and we'll
Yeah,
talk
I
about
saw
that
that one. Yeah.
when we get to hunters as well. Anything else for activators? Because it's honestly it's harder to make a mistake as an activator because it is your activation and you can do it your way. That's a good thing. It's not a mistake for me to sit and rag chew with every single person that hunts me because it's my activation.
You're right. You're right. It's your activation. You can run it how you do it. Just be consistent about it. That's what I would say. You want to be a rag chewer, be a rag chewer. That's fine. Just be consistent. You know?
But just realize you're excluding a lot of hunters that is not going to hunt you.
Yeah.
On that rare occasion that I'm hunting, I'm not going to hunt somebody that's rag chewing. It could be the rarest park in Egypt, and I'm like, I think I'm done with this. So, you know, if you don't have an antenna that'll do 40 beyond, that's not your fault.
Yeah.
You know, you do got to work with what you have. You know, and you know if all your eggs have to be in that one basket 20 meters, it's still better than not activating at all. But yeah, the people around you locally, they want those parks too, and a lot of people just don't realize that.
Brian brings up a good point for an activator. Listen to what you sound like or ask a buddy what you sound like to make sure it's real good. I had this happen to me. Man, it's been a while ago, a long time ago. But anyway, I told an activator who I don't think I've ever worked him before. I said, I can barely hear you. Your signal's great. I'm going to give you a 1.9. But check this out. You got a lot of RF in your audio. You sound horrible.
I don't have to listen to anything or ask anybody because the second my audio is off a little bit,
yeah,
good Lord, it's like somebody put it on Twitter. James has bad audio.
Yeah,
Go crucify him.
Yeah. So I told the guy, I said, you got terrible RF in your audio. Your signal's stronger than ever. Move some stuff around, or maybe move your coax, or you know whatnot. Just want to let you know. And he came back to me and he sounded offended that I told him his radio sounded like crap. I would want to know that. I mean, honestly, if somebody says you got RF in your audio and I'm out activating a park, dude, thanks for telling me. I can't hear myself on the other side. You know what I mean? Thanks.
Yeah, I'm really glad that people do that because they were telling me that I had RF in mine one night, and when I got done before I went to the next band, I start looking around for the problem, and sure enough, there was some kind of it was a line that went to an electrical thing.
Mm-hmm.
There in the park, and my coax had ran across it, and right where my coax ran across it, there was a bare spot in that line. So evidently it was I was picking up so when I moved my coax after that, everybody said I sounded great.
You remember that old Yaesu microphone that you used to have that every time you use it, it sounded like you were in a wind tunnel?
It ain't an old one. It ain't an old one. It's the crappy one that they put with their new radios.
Yeah.
Listen, I am a Yaesu guy and I love Yaesu, but the microphones that come with the DX10, the FDX1, they're garbage. They're absolutely garbage. The microphones that come with the 891, the 991, the 818 when it was made, those are the real microphones. And all my radios, that's what I run now.
Let's go back here and clean up the chat a little bit here. Mike asked if we're planning any mass AMP activations in Alabama. Yes, sir. Probably Friday and Saturday night. Probably the big ones on Saturday night. But Friday night, everybody is still invited to hang out. Let's see. For that matter, everybody's welcome to hang out on Saturday night too, or even Sunday night if you're still there. We'll be there.
We'll be
anything else
hanging
going
out
on?
every night, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna save that one for hunters. That was a good one that James brought up. Be sure to hit the like button. Thank you very much, John. Hit like and subscribe. Sweaty Mom Jeans is here. Kyle, good to see you.
Sweaty mom jeans.
That's what he said. He must have been playing tennis in his tights or something.
Somewhere right now, Kyle,
Yeah.
you're regretting that decision because Kilo 8 Golf Quebec is somewhere right now thinking about sweaty mom jeans.
He's over there licking his fingers like he just had some good like fried chicken or something.
All right, so I guess we're gonna go on to hunters.
Yeah, we'll start off with the one that
Yeah, go ahead and start with that one.
RF. If I can scroll back, I got two different chats I'm looking for here. This is a big one, and this has actually caught me once or twice the other way around. Me not paying attention to my band privileges versus Canadian band privileges.
Mm-hmm.
If you work an activator in Canada and say they're like low into 40 meters and they're running voice, or even on 17 meters, that's in their band plan. They can run voice there. We as US amateurs cannot. It's not in our band plan. So technically we can't call them. And that bit me in the butt once. I believe it was on 17 meters. But don't tell somebody that they're out of band for their mode unless you know the band plan in the country they are in. That's a big one. You don't want to put egg on your face there.
You know what? Honestly, unless it's your friend, unless Dan, is somewhere he shouldn't be. Honestly, you're not the FCC. We stay out of their business.
Yep.
I have enough friends that's going to tell me, "Hey, you're activating an extra portion." Well, that's good. I'm an extra, but thanks for telling me because I'm going to go back up to the general portion because I'm going to make more contacts.
Right.
But honestly, if they're not your friend, don't be that guy don't be that salty old man that literally sits in the extra portion and everybody's call sign that comes up and he hears, he's typing it into QRZ to see if they're an extra or not.
And don't be that salty activator who's an extra. Still as an extra, pay attention to where you are on the band. Don't be that extra. I've seen this quite a few times. Don't be that extra that the bottom half of your 3K signal on upper sideband is in the extra portion of the band, and the other 2KCs are in the general portion of the band, because generals technically still can't call you.
Exactly.
They do. Don't get me wrong. But don't be that guy that rides. Don't be that guy that rides that split right there. Not paying attention. Oh, let's see here.
Brent's comment actually just made me think of that night that I was talking about that vid was activating, because that night the vid was trying to keep up with me when Dan got done hunting me. He actually said, "This frequency's in use, dummy."
Yeah, I sure did. Let's see. Listen, your number one, I think we mentioned it on a stream last week or the week before. Your number one tool as an activator and a hunter are these right here. Yep. These little appendages on the outside of your skull. Listen.
The number one mistake made by hunters is they come into to these big pileups and they want in and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get into these pileups. But there's nothing wrong with that. But I'll tell you flat out, unless I'm roving, and I'm not roving right at the beginning of late shift, I'm going to work everybody that's in that pileup. You don't got to be an absolute lid to get through. Now, I'm not telling you, because some people in this chat will tell you, "Oh, if it's James and he's got a big pileup, just go hunt 15 other people and come back." Because I'm going to tell you flat out, I can run 100 people in a pileup very quickly. And there's many times where about 8 or 9 minutes after the late shift, it starts to really slow down because I've already got 120 people from late shift in the log.
Yeah.
So I'm not telling you to leave my pileup and go hunt other people, but I'm saying make sure you're calling at the right time. Listen. If I call Alpha Zero Zulu, or if I call the Alpha station, I don't want to hear Kilo Oscar 4.
Yeah.
Only the Alpha. And the biggest mistake they make is if I say CW only. Because I work a lot of cross mode. I didn't realize how many cross mode I worked till the other night, and I worked like it's either 7 or 8 cross mode contacts on one activation, almost a full activation. But I'll say the CW station, and 15 people will call out their call sign. You gotta listen, because I'll tell you, if I hear you right off the bat, we'll pick on Josh because he won't get offended. If I say Kilo 8 station and Josh goes Kilo 4 Lima India, I'm going to go back and I'm going to say only the Kilo 8 station. Now, I know I've heard Kilo 4 Lima India, but guess what? When I go to after I work that Kilo 8 Golf Quebec, I'm going to say QRZ, and I'm going to make him wait intentionally because he was being a vid. And Josh would never do that. That's why I'm picking on him. Thank you very much for the super chat, and he says he's guilty of jumping the gun. It's just annoying when, and the worst thing is you don't listen for the activator. You just okay. I have a habit, I'll listen to that whole pileup and I'll store calls. And for me to run efficiently, when I start calling those calls, I need y'all to shut up unless I'm calling you. So I've got 15 calls in my head, and I go Whiskey Delta 4 Delta Kilo 8 Golf Quebec. No, Terry, I'm calling somebody.
That's great.
Because you just took 14 calls, and then I have a conscience, and I'll feel bad because then I'll hear Alpha Zero Zulu, and I was like, crap, he was in my mind for that last pile up, and I was going to work him, and I'm sitting there thinking all this stuff and working 3 or 4 more calls, and I'm sitting there stressing on it so much I forget him again, and then I go QRZ, and then I hear Alpha Zero Zulu, and I was like, God, I meant to work him, and you got to listen because you mess up the activator.
That's right. And you got to remember, guys, as an activator, you train your pileup. You run the pileup, or the pileup's going to run you. I mean, one way or the other, right? So if you encourage this behavior of people jumping the gun or calling out a turn or talking over other people, that's really on you. I mean, you're kind of like the kindergarten teacher in the room with the ruler. You need to go around and slap some hands every now and again.
That's why I'm trying to teach my CW crowd because I'll be honest, there's nights that I'll leave 40 or 50 people in there because they're just being idiots. Yeah. I'll look and see who I've got in CW. I was like, yeah, I got everybody. I think I'm good. And I'll just go QRT and leave 40 or 50 people in there because I'm sitting there saying Kilo 8 ? And everybody's calling back.
While we're on the subject of CW here, as a hunter, Juliet Mike doesn't even do CW, and she knows how annoying zero beating is. So she doesn't even do CW, guys. But she's heard some of my CW zero beaded pileups when they come to me, and they've heard me hunt other people when other people are zero beating an activator. If you hunt as CW or on CW, don't zero beat your activator because it is a royal pain in the neck.
Unless he's continuously just calling CQ and nobody's hunting him, then it's not going to bother him. It's more of the when 2 people does it and 3 people and 4 people and in my case 20 people.
Let's see, hunter wise, us hunters, we really enjoy when an activator is consistent. Run your pile up the same way each time. I just said, listen. That's your most effective tool that you have. But if you're consistent, you teach the hunter how you run your pile up all the time. So there's been plenty of times that I switch right to a frequency of somebody who I've worked hundreds of times, and all I hear them say is RZ. And I know that's them saying QRZ, and I'll go ahead and fire off my call sign. Even though technically I didn't listen. I've worked them enough, I know their pattern. So if you're consistent as an activator, hunters are going to learn that. As a hunter, be consistent to your activators as well. Say your call sign the same way every time, because you're training the activator how to recognize you in that pileup. Voice recognition, as people say, adds 6 dB to your signal. If James in his pileup only gets a whiskey or a delta or a 4 or a delta or an alpha or a November out of my call sign, he knows it's me because I say it the same way every single time. So he just needs to hear one letter out of that call sign. So be consistent as a hunter, because you're training your activators to be able to recognize you in big pileups, or let's say if they're on a rove somewhere in Saskatchewan and your signal is like a 2 and 2 to them, they can still know it's your voice and pick you out with a really weak signal. So be consistent. That's the big thing.
That's just, as Chris just said that I picked him out last night. He was a 5.2 out of all the 5.9s, and it's like that. If I'm used to certain tones and stuff like that, and that's the good thing about my ears. My ears are weird. The people would think that, well, you got really good hearing. No, I'm deaf in one ear and barely hear out the other. But I'm really, really, really good at tones. So if I know your tone, even if I don't remember exactly who it is, but I know that tone, and I can call you back and stuff like that. So it happens. I've got a video, and I'll tell you, microphones pick up voices a lot better than ears do, and it makes me feel dumb all the time. But I worked Perry one day and gave him a 1-1. And Dan said he had to literally turn his TV all the way up and listen as hard as he could just to hear a voice in there.
It's like, as long as you're consistent in the way you say your call sign, like when we're on activations, we work Josh, K4LI. We work him on bands that he is literally, you can recognize his voice. Like a 1-in-1 type of, a 2-in-1, type in contact, just because I know the voice, because he says it the same way every single time that he calls.
He don't even say his call to me anymore. He just comes to my pileup and goes, yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Somebody else, I can't find it in the chat, but somebody said say your call sign only once. And I agree with that. So as a hunter, I'll say my call sign once. I'm not going to say it twice in a pileup because I think that's kind of liddish behavior. But this goes back to learning how the activator's running their pileup. So this goes back to the listen. Figure out if the activator is taking call signs off of the front of their pileup. The first thing they hear, if they're constantly calling out station beginning Kilo Echo, station beginning Whiskey Delta, they're probably taking the first things they hear. If they're constantly calling out saying station ending in Zulu November, station ending in Alpha November, they're probably taking some of the last things they hear in that pileup. Learn how the activator is managing the pileup. Say your call sign once and try to find that gap in the pileup. Good timing is a good thing for a hunter. So if they're working the end of the pileup, when you hear them say QRZ and you hear the pileup start, count to like 2 or 3 in your head, then say your call sign. You kind of tail end the pileup a little bit if they're working the tail end of the pileup.
Some activators are weird like me, and I take a list throughout the whole pileup. But most of them do just what Dan said. They're either taking the very first person they hear, somebody that was loud in the middle, or somebody at the very end. It's just like CW. When I get 40 zero beaters, I take that very last call at the end.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yep.
Curtis just said it. A lot of people has gotten very less patient.
Yeah.
And that leads to this. Know your stuff, for one. If you know, if you're just a guy that doesn't do POTA and you're scrolling through the van and you hear a pile up and call, it's one thing. But when you're a POTA hunter and you're sitting in a pile up for 10 minutes trying to get through, there's several things you should know. Number one, you should know the activator's call sign, whether he said it or not. And I'm gonna say it a lot, a whole lot.
Larry.
But know his call sign. And if you're one of those hunters that absolutely have to know every single park number he's in, why don't you listen before you call? Because, you know, I can run 100 calls in 8 or 9 minutes, but not answering every silly question you want to ask because you didn't pay attention.
Yeah, that goes back to listen. And as a hunter, judge how that pileup is running.
Yep.
If the activator is getting calls in and out, and you've been in there 5 minutes trying to call, 5 minutes trying to call, and finally you get in, don't ask him what kind of antenna he's running.
Yeah.
You know,
and
just get in and out.
Pay attention if they're running two operators, because I see it all the time. I'll say, please hold for the second operator. And I hand the second operator to Mike, and they'll say their call sign and give them a signal report, and you're gone.
Yep.
You know, pay attention, guys. Wait for, you know, there might be 5 operators.
It's not rocket science. Just listen and pay attention.
Yep.
It's really not. So. And try to put yourself, if you're both an activator and a hunter, as a hunter, try to put yourself in the shoes of an activator and say, would I get aggravated if a hunter did this to me? And if the answer is yes, don't do it as a hunter.
Yeah. And once the activator stops talking, stop throwing out your call.
Yep.
Just stop. Because nothing is more annoying to me. And a lot of times I don't hear the person doing it. And I get kind of annoyed at the first hunter that I called. And I'll be like, QO8 Golf Quebec, you're 5'9". QO8 Golf Quebec, you're 5'9". Oh, you're 5'9". Well, if I'm 5'9", why didn't you hear me first time? Because somebody was talking over top of me.
Yep.
And I get aggravated, especially if I have to say it 3. If I have to get to that word, last try for QO8 Golf Quebec. If I say that, I'm annoyed. And then what happens? The very next QRZ, I hear it. QA Golf Quebec.
Yeah.
Terry gets all the jokes, don't he?
Oh, just wait for about a week and a half. Oh yeah.
Yep, about a week and a half. Yeah. Me and Dan we take walking around with a notebook, writing down stuff for shenanigans that Terry's doing. Because everything that me and Dan says on shenanigans is the truth. So help us God.
Yeah. Scout's honor, you know, yeah. Especially coming up not this Sunday, but next Sunday. That's true. Maybe Terry will make an appearance Sunday after next on shenanigans.
You know, didn't he do it last year? Didn't he walk by the camera in like a
he did
in the back?
He did. But no, hunting POTA, activating POTA, none of it's a difficult thing to do, but there's a lot of things that'll make it easier for both hunters and activators. So, and like I said, 90% of it's common sense, guys. Just use common sense. Don't call somebody you can't hear. Pay attention to when they call you back, and don't be a lid. That's really what it boils down to. Yeah.
That's right. And I'm going to wrap it up with one mistake that you should never make, whether you're a hunter or an activator, don't tell somebody else how to have their own fun.
Absolutely.
If
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 you're not,
they're having fun and they're not breaking any laws or rules, don't tell them it's wrong, because
That's
they're
right.
having fun, and that's what POTA's about, guys.
If
And
you're
Terry
not
said he was
having fun
wearing a
my
halter
way,
top.
yeah. Don't be the guy. If you're not having fun the way I want you to have fun, you're doing it wrong. Don't be that guy.
Yeah. All right, Dan. Coming up on the top of the hour. What you got coming up, buddy?
Yeah, we are already, aren't we? After chat tonight, let me drop the links to the Patreon and the Discord. That is a Patreon benefit where we are going to go and chat for a little bit while I'm outside grilling some chicken, so y'all can hang out. And James is going
Great.
to talk
Now
about that in
Josh
just a
ain't
minute.
coming after chat. He's going to Georgia because
That's
you're
right.
having chicken.
That's right. Kilo 4 Lima India will come down here and have some chicken with me. But thanks everybody for hanging out. It's Wednesday night, episode 207 of Hump Day Happy Hour. And James is going to let you know about the after chat. Take it away.
That's right. That is where I'm heading, the after chat. After chat is a Patreon benefit. If you are not a Patreon and want to come to after chat, go over to Patreon and sign up for a free 7-day trial, and then message myself or Dan in Discord so we can get you the access to the room, because we don't get a notification when people sign up for free trials. And every week I say this, and every week somebody signs up for a free trial and we get no messages, and then I notice them like 2 weeks later. No, I'm not going to Panther. I'm going to After Chat. I just went to Panther before this stream. Thank you very much. But yeah, come join us in After Chat. We have a good time. There's a couple new Patreons I'd really like to see. William and daggone it, Gary. William and Gary. You guys ain't never been in After Chat, so come hang out with us, guys. And it's a lot of fun most of the time. And there's a lot of benefits that comes with Patreon. So don't think you're going to stay free forever. You're gonna get hooked. They're already talking about this year's Christmas party, which is our big celebration, guys. And we do it right for Patreons for Christmas. Anyway, 73, everybody, and stay tuned. I've got at least 3 really good videos coming out here shortly. I don't know if I'm going to space them out with traveling for Huntsville or what, but I've got some real good stuff filmed and ready to go. 73, everybody.